and welcome to Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams, a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today, we're updating you on some of the many commitments we've made during past episodes of this podcast. Hey, Janine.
Hey, Shannon, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, too. I'm ready for fall.
Yeah?
And it's 90 degrees outside, over 90 degrees.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm a little sad about that. I'm dressed for fall, unfortunately. Because I didn't look at the weather forecast this morning.
You just assumed it's September?
Well, it was cool over the week. It was cool yesterday.
Yeah.
It was fall yesterday. Yeah, so I got dressed to go to a meeting and noticed I was dressed completely differently from everybody else. And then I haven't managed to change my clothes yet. It's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Well, but it's probably not too warm in your house.
Well, I don't like air conditioning, so...
You probably would be more comfortable if you were not dressed in your fall clothes.
Maybe, and if I could turn the fan on in my office like I usually do, but I can't because it's now a podcast studio
right
at this moment. So anyway, it's all good.
Well,
yes,
I feel compelled to report on a weather event here in Portland. Yesterday, we had a tornado warning.
Oh my God, when I saw on your Facebook update the screenshot of the tornado warning, I freaked out on your behalf. Because I know we've talked about how they freak you out. And of course, they freak everybody out. Did anything happen? Did you go to the basement?
We didn't go to the basement because it was much further west than us.
Okay.
But it just was shot, it popped up on my phone like this big alert. And I was sort of surprised. And I had a friend visiting us for dinner who's from the who has lived in the Midwest, and she was like, wait, are there tornado sirens here? Will they sound the sirens? I'm like, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have sirens.
We don't have sirens because we don't have tornadoes. Except for we already had one this year in Portland.
This is the second one?
There ended up, there was a funnel cloud, but there was nothing that touched down in at a speed or formation that was counted as a tornado. So
that last night.
No, the last time it was whatever I don't know how tornadoes are
I don't either.
graded, but
categorized.
Categorized, but it was like the lowest level that counts as a tornado that touched down in northeast Portland, and it didn't severely damage anything. Like, it didn't tear houses apart or blow off doors or windows or anything. It took down a few chimneys and a lot of trees, but no further damage than that. But luckily there was no actual tornado last night.
But 2 tornadic events this year. That's not okay.
In a place that doesn't have tornadoes.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes me realize how we rely on our tornado sirens. Like, if there's a tornado siren goes off, if it goes off, we can hear it and we go to the basement, period.
Right.
Not everybody does. But if just my phone goes off, I'm not as, then I look at the forecast more. But yeah. Oh, Shannon, it's very exciting. I'm glad it was uneventful for you personally.
Me too.
Well, it's interesting that you're updating something that we talked about in a past episode.
It's so true.
Thank you, weather.
Yeah.
So it fits right into what our plan is for this episode.
Yeah, because we have this habit of saying that we're going to try different things or do things differently or create new habits or make commitments in some way or another on episodes. And we thought that people might be interested to know on how we're doing on some of those things.
We're interested. I'm interested in how I'm doing on these things. It was nice to sort of try to take stock of it. Yeah.
Well, I think we have to make one commitment from the get-go, which is to start a note that has a list of the things that we commit to doing, so when we make a commitment, we put it in this yes.
note. Yes, then it'll make updates easier.
Yes, it'll make updates easier, and also tracking what we say we're going to do, because we both have the same problem. As soon as we publish the episode, well, pretty much as soon as we record it, it's out of our heads, and then it's back in our heads when we edit it and publish it, and then it's back out of our heads again.
Right, exactly. So it will be I think we'll be setting ourselves up for success by keeping track of these things, because they're sincere. At least we're both being very sincere when we say, "Oh, that's a great idea."
I liked how you said, "At least," you started to say, "At least I am."
I did.
I just say it because I don't really care.
So, the reason I was going to say that was because I am the one who tends to make these commitments, because you're the ones you're the one who's giving me flashing bits of insight constantly. So I didn't want, anyway. Yeah, I wasn't suggesting you don't keep your commitments. Maybe make as many.
We'll see what the record shows.
Yeah, let the record show. But yeah, I think as I was starting to say, we are sincere when we make these commitments, because they're always great ideas. We just forget. Yeah. So it will be really nice to have a note in our Evernote notebook reminding us.
I think so.
So if nothing else comes out of this episode, that's all. We're already ahead of the game.
Right. Well, I mean, that's like pretty much it. We don't need to do anything else. Call it a wrap.
Thanks, folks, for listening. Yeah.
No, everybody's dying to know about your knitting, Janine.
Oh, I'm sure, right. So I didn't go back and listen to the episode, but it was fairly recently. So I remember that I said that I would put away all the many, many knitting needles that I found amongst all my many works in progress. I think I said I would do that tomorrow, and I didn't. But I did do it, sometime between then and now, a few weeks ago. And that felt great. I have so many knitting needles at my disposal.
Oh, that's nice.
And yes, and I, as was suggested by this book that I read prior to my big knitting decluttering extravaganza, I started a new project that she called a palette cleanser. So I didn't have to go back to my old projects right away. And I'm working on that. I'm like, I'm going to say a foot. It's a cowl. It's funny. I make fingerless gloves and cowls. That's all I make anymore. Hats occasionally. I've got about a foot of it done, and I'm liking it. And it's made from leftover yarn from another project. And that other project was this other cowl that was the one I talked about in the episode.
Yeah. That needed to be
that was top of my list. Needed just a little bit finished. I just had to sew up a little bit, but it seemed like I had done it wrong because it was coming out tall instead of long.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. It's clearly something went awry. But I decided that rather than try to figure that out, because it was hurting my brain in the 30 seconds that I tried, I would just finish it and see how it went. So I'm going to be completely honest and share that I didn't finish it until today, because I knew we were recording this episode today. So, and it literally took 20 minutes to finish, because all I had to do was use a 3-needle bind off and about 8 inches. It was actually longer than I thought, of unbound off yarn stitches. Mm-hmm. And I love it.
Yay.
I think it will be a really great thing in the winter. As I told you before we started recording, I tried it on today when I'm already hot. Oh, so I didn't appreciate it that much. But it's cute.
It's super cute.
Even though it's not what I expected, yeah. And it's double layered.
Oh, like,
It's a big tube.
oh, yeah.
That's got two. Why am I having trouble with this?
Oh, so it's like 2 layers of knitting instead of a single layer of knitting. So it's like a tube that's
Exactly.
stitched together.
Yes.
So it's like a tube
so-
that's a tube.
Yes. Tubular tube. So when I do wear it, it will be very warm.
Oh, nice.
And yeah.
And I saw a
And
picture of it. The colors are great.
Thank you.
It looks
Thank
so
you very
cute.
much. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll enjoy having that. And now I'm going to have this other cowl that I'm knitting right now that's just from the light gray, dark gray, and then a color that was a test color for this that I didn't use. That's sort of a bright, kind of a fuchsia. So I'll have that too, but it's a single layer with some lace in it, so it won't be anywhere near as warm or as big. So I'm feeling really great about that, and it felt good to get one of those unfinished projects that I wanted to complete actually completed. I even weaved in the one end that was left to weave in.
Wow.
So it's like done. And the best part is because it's double layered, the end seam that I did today wasn't that attractive. It looked like my dog's spade.
Oh, God.
But I could just put it on the inside.
Oh, yeah.
So it's totally invisible. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that rejuvenation I had and by the way, we talked about this in episode 65, restarting. I felt rejuvenated by this whole process of decluttering my works in progress and letting go of a bunch of them and reassessing the other ones. It felt really great to get that finished, and it feels really great to be starting on something new.
Oh, that's great. Good. Yeah. Well, and that reminds me from that episode I talked about my t-shirt drawer, my ever-present, ubiquitous t-shirt drawer. And I just wanted to report that I acquired a fair number of t-shirts in the recent past, and I have stuck with my plan of putting them in rows, and once I wear them, I put them in the back so that the ones that I haven't worn yet come to the front, and I'm doing that. And then I also when I got new t-shirts, I got rid of old shirts so they aren't more crammed in. There's plenty of space for the t-shirts that I have.
So you still have a happy t-shirt drawer.
I do.
Even though you've acquired some new ones.
Yes.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That makes me happy.
Makes me happy too.
Yeah.
So much easier to get dressed.
Yeah. Absolutely. Should we move on to another one? I bet we have. I have one that I can report less success.
Oh, what's that?
Well, I have two, but one is in the episode 60, The Problem with Labels, I talked about how I was going to try to be more handy.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And I was going to try to fix my bathtub. And I called it was my shower kit. I called the place, and they told me to do something, and I had a little difficulty with it, and I consulted my husband, and anyway, he ended up doing it. So I got the job done.
Which
I got it started.
I think it totally counts.
Oh, I don't know about that. But
because it was...
At least my shower's working properly.
Yeah. Well, it counts for episode 63 on tolerations. Well,
there you go. Excellent. Yeah. And it was nice that Barry was willing to deal with it. And yeah, it all worked out. But I have not yet. We laughed about the prospect of my signing up for a community college class on using tools or whatever.
Right.
And then you said, yeah, you could watch YouTube. And like, of course I could do that. And then you start sending me links to community college classes I could take in St. Louis. So now that's what I want to do. But I haven't signed up for any because at the time it was too early. If I had been able to sign up that day, but registration wasn't yet open. I would have probably, and then I lost my fire.
Oh, well, maybe this can be a prompt to get you to sign up again, if that's something that you still want to do. Because I think that's also important to keep in mind with these sort of things, is that, you know, you can change your mind. Things can change, and maybe it's not as important as it once was. Like, maybe you don't have to think of yourself as handy to still be able to get things done around the house.
Interesting.
You know, because that's really the problem, right? Is that you feel like you aren't able to do the things that you want to do around the house.
Yeah, although I would love to be able to be confident doing stuff for clients as well. It's like some of my team members do. I just rely on them, and it doesn't really matter. But it would be nice to be the person who's like, oh yeah, no problem. So I do think I am interested, if it's YouTube or a community college class. I kind of really think I want to take the class. So guess what? I just added it to the commitment.
Yay!
Yay!
Well, and I loved that they actually had a class. Like, you said you wanted to take a class on power tools, and I thought, like, what would that even be? And then I felt compelled to look, and I found this, whatever the St. Louis Community College is called, I can't remember, and they actually have a class on power tools.
Right, and it might be one of those classes where I love it when I'm the youngest person in the room.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't be in this one, though, actually. That's why I pursue things like knitting and genial.
So you can bring the median age down.
Yeah, I enjoy doing that. It's getting harder and harder. So I remember from that episode, The Problem with Labels, that your commitment to letting go of the label of being someone with a bad memory. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yes, actually, you are.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because, I mean, we sort of started out this whole episode talking about our bad memories. And I think the thing about it is feeling bad about my memory. And sort of the problem, I'm thinking about it now because it's like, it's true. Sometimes I don't have a good memory, and sometimes I have a great memory. And I think the problem is worrying about my memory. Does that make sense?
Or feeling bad about it. Feeling like somehow having a worse memory than you had 20 years ago or whatever makes you a lesser person or whatever. Right. Yeah, so I agree. I think actually that's a really, really good point. Yeah, our memories are not what they were when we were young. When you were in your 20s, Shannon, did you have an amazing memory?
Oh, phenomenal.
Me too. I was unbelievable.
I didn't understand how anyone could not remember someone that they had met or something they had read. Right. Like, I'm like, so how could that even be? You met them. How could you not remember?
Right.
And now I see people that I went to high school with and that I recognize their name, but I swear I've never seen them before in my life.
Right.
Like,
Yep. Uh-huh.
I was listening to, remember when I used to do those, the Explore and Play calls where I do the coaching calls every month? I was re-listening to one, and I was telling this story about someone who threw their own surprise party. They threw themselves a surprise party.
How can that be a surprise?
Well, they did everything, and it, obviously it wasn't a surprise, but they told their friends, they invited their friends to a surprise party. They told them what time they had to be there. They told them that they had to park around the block. And I'm like telling this whole story, which that's a story you think you'd remember. I have no recollection of hearing that story before.
Wait, were you telling a story that you lived through?
No, I was.
You didn't go to, did you
I
go
didn't,
to
no, I did not go to it. Someone just told me that this had happened. And because I have no recollection, I don't know if the person who told me was the person who threw themselves a surprise party or they attended the surprise party.
Right.
But and that seems like something you'd really remember, but
it really does.
I do not remember that at all.
Right. So if we recognize that having a less great memory than we had 30 or 40 years ago, is that right? 30 or 40? Yeah, 30, whatever. It doesn't make us a bad person. And then we can focus on accommodating our memory.
Right. Right. I think that's the important thing to remember.
That our memory's not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, to, when I see someone and I don't remember their name, I've taken to just saying, hey, can you remind me of your name?
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then they do. And I said, and I always say, I'm Shannon. Can you remind me your name? And
they don't mind,
no.
Right? Nobody minds. Yeah. My dad, he's going to be 89 next week. This week, shoot. Anyway, sorry. He's going to be, he's going to be 89 this week. He on a daily basis, people come up to him and greet him, and he says to me, "I've never seen that person in my life." and they come up and talk to him, call him by name, and I always say, just say, hey, remind me of your name. I suggest that he does, and he's embarrassed. I'm like, you're 89.
Yeah.
No one is going to blame you for not remembering your name. I'm going to tell him that you do that. Maybe that will help.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what, and I still feel fine about, making jokes about my memory. But feeling less anxious about it, I think, is what's come out of that.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, one of the other things we both committed to was asking for help in episode 17.
Did I commit to that?
I'm not sure. I think we both committed to trying to ask for help more frequently.
Yeah, I think now I take it back. I think. Yeah, obviously I didn't do very well with that since I don't even remember committing to it. I do remember your husband Mike inspiring awe in me about how he asks for help. So how about you? Have you been living up to that commitment?
Not 100% of the time, but there have been plenty of times where I've decided to ask for help, and it really worked out for me. One thing that comes to mind was on the Alaska cruise that we were just on recently, and I needed to edit an episode, and they have these crazy internet packages and the internet package I had blocked it because they considered the website that we use to record and edit the episodes. They blocked it because it was categorized as streaming, and I didn't pay twice as much for my internet to be able to stream. And so I decided to go to the iLounge where there was, a staff person, and ask for help. And I asked for help, and he set me up on the ship's internet, not even the high, passenger internet, but the ship's internet, the staff internet, so that I could finish my project. And then I was able to get it done super quickly, and it was great. I was so happy I'd asked for help. And what was funny is that Mike had asked previously, but he asked a different question, and they said, "Oh no, that's, you just have what you have." And then I went in and literally asked for help, and I said, "I'm having this problem. Can you help me?" And that's how I got the help.
Oh, that's excellent. Yeah. And was Mike very proud of you?
He was very proud of me.
I bet he was. He probably thought, my asking for help protege.
Yes.
Grasshopper. That's excellent. That is so good.
Yeah. So.
That's good. Well, I had a hearkening back to episode 53, Preventing Overwhelm. It wasn't that I committed to something so much as I practiced what I was talking about in that episode. We were talking in the episode about one way to stop from becoming overwhelmed is to take on fewer commitments.
Right.
And we talked about saying no and so forth, which I consider myself pretty good at in general. So you helped me practice that.
I
when was
did.
This? Over the weekend, was it? Or was it Friday? It was recently.
Yeah, it was recently.
When you invited me to consider participating in a workshop that you're doing in Phoenix.
Yes.
Right? Am I getting
that's right.
Yeah, and so it was in March,
Right.
I think.
Yes.
Right after when I'll be speaking in Salt Lake City at Roots Tech, which is a big old
huge genealogy conference.
Yeah, so it's like a big, I've spoken there before, but I had a co-presenter, and now that I'm solo doing it, it's scarier. And so I thought, oh man, if I say yes to this, which sounds very appealing, will I be able to give it my full attention and not get overwhelmed and so forth? And so I let you off the hook, or let myself off the hook.
Yeah, you let yourself off the hook. And I have to say, being on the receiving end of your no, it was a really pleasant no.
Oh,
and also, totally and obviously left the door open that if things change, then we can change things. But I think it's just such a great example of how to say no. And you just cited your commitment and your concern and said, so this is the decision I'm going to make. And I was really happy that you did that instead of agreeing to do it and then felt stressed by it or wasn't able to give it the time that it needs or whatever.
End up canceling later, right? Yeah, which sometimes happens. Well, yeah, I credit the podcast for that, honestly. I mean, I do think that thinking about these things like we have been doing for the last 15 months really is helpful. And it wasn't easy. I didn't agonize over the phraseology at all. It was just completely honest. I gave some attention to my feelings about the decision, but it was all happened very quickly. And so that we're not being cryptic, perhaps why don't you explain a little bit about the workshop? It's not like we're trying to.
Well, we're not trying to be mysterious, but it's just the very, very early talks about it. But I have a very good friend in Phoenix who is an amazing writer and teacher, and actually two of them, and they teach a lot of classes and workshops together. And I'm going to be heading to Phoenix for another reason, and so they suggested that we do maybe a day of workshop, sort of like a day-long retreat or something. So it's all very vague right now, but I will be in Phoenix sometime in the middle of March to talk about getting to good enough in your writing and creativity practices. So of course we'll share details as the event comes together, but if that's something you're interested in, maybe pencil on your calendar.
Yeah, and your friends are or the friend that I know, whom I know, is so delightful. It was very hard to say no to that. So I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. But and I'll share more as we sort of figure things out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Be fun. Wouldn't it be fun to meet more podcast listeners?
Oh my gosh, it would be.
I've had the good fortune of meeting a couple at various conferences I go to, but because they happen to be there.
And they happen to say hi to you and tell you that they're listeners.
Oh, right. Otherwise, I don't know who listens to the podcast particularly unless they tell me.
So I think that's a good thing to point out because, if you do listen to the podcast and you happen to see us, at whatever, we would love to know that you're a listener. It's super fun to meet our listeners in person. I think we both really enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yes. Wow, we're just zipping through the commitments.
I know.
We're doing pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah.
I see, I can think, I want to ask you about your genealogy.
Yeah, I was just going to say that we ended up skipping over that. And I made the commitment, I can't remember exactly because this was a while ago. It was episode 20. So that's, oh my gosh, that's more than a year ago, right? Am I doing my math right? Because this is episode 70. It's almost a year ago.
Yeah. I was on my way to Walla Walla, so I'm thinking it was that September trip, but I could be wrong.
No, I think that's right.
When we sat down, which makes it a year ago. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what I did do was I bought archival file boxes, just small ones, that are like 6 inches wide or so. And I bought archival tissue paper and I sorted, and archival file folders, and I sorted everything into the 4 branches of my family, one for each grandparent. And I just put everything in a file folder, and used Post-it notes for labels on the file folders, and just stuck the things in the right file box for the right family. And
didn't file them within, you put
each paper I put in its own file. Or what I did actually was I had if I had multiple papers that were the same sort of thing, then I just put a sheet of tissue paper in between them and put them in one file folder. Like I have a lot of like deed documents for one side of the family, the Whites who came out, who were pioneers that settled in Oregon before it was a state. And I have a lot of deed documents for that. So I put those together in a folder separated by archival tissue paper, and then and I made one for photos because I just had these boxes of things, and so I just went through the boxes and did that, and I was really happy with what I did. And then my next step was to go through the documents and enter the information into my genealogy program, and that's where I got stalled. But I did get all the documents into the file boxes, so they're stored safely.
That was your big concern.
That was my big
right?
concern.
That you wanted to be a good caretaker of these precious documents. Yeah. So that's amazing and wonderful.
Yeah.
And now, whenever it is that you're ready to get back to your genealogy research and go have the pleasure of reading those deeds.
Well, and actually, I take that back. I did deal with a couple of them. Like there were some personal letters, and I transcribed them. I copied them, transcribed them, and created a file that contains both, like a PDF that contains both the transcription and images of the original letters. And I entered that information into my genealogy program, and then I also shared those documents on Ancestry, so that my distant relatives who are also descendants of these people could see them, and a number of people were happy to see those documents. Like it's sort of crazy to see your great grandfather's handwriting.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. That's really nice. I was going to ask if you shared them after having gone to that trouble. That is so great.
Yeah, and
so good.
Yeah, and I totally forgot. I might have said this before, but there was one letter I had that was a little confusing because it referred to this person's mother-in-law, but in sort of a derogatory way, and indicating that there was a lawsuit between them. And then I got contacted by someone, not on Ancestry, but through another genealogy site, who was asking me about one of these ancestors. And it turned out that this mother-in-law was the second wife that I didn't know about. And
well, that's good.
And she was in fact in a lawsuit with this son who was like who's my great uncle. I mean, my great great uncle. And so between what this woman knew and what I knew, we were able to put a lot of information together. And I shared this letter with her, which, you know, corroborated what she knew about the lawsuit. And then she shared information that shed a lot of light on, you know, what was in this letter that made no sense to me. So it was very fun to be able to share that letter. And I created a document like that where there was it was an image of the letter and then a transcription of the letter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great.
So
cool. And that stuff is safe, and when you're ready to dig into it, it's there.
That's right.
It's like it's on the launching pad.
Yep.
So you don't have to do anything but pick a folder.
Right.
That's so great.
Yeah. It does feel good to have to know that it's not being harmed the way it's stored right now. That's good. Right. And I feel like I also have to share that I've talked a lot about morning routines and exercise, and I have to say, you know, I've talked about it on a lot of different episodes. That's still something that I'm struggling with again.
Isn't that interesting? That waxing and waning thing is so interesting.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just human nature, I guess.
Right.
So where do things stand right now?
Well, I had sort of separately from this episode because, to be honest, I thought we were recording this episode next week. But sort of separate from that, I got back to last night I decided, you know, what I was going to do this morning, and I created a habit tracker in my bullet journal, and I think it will be easier to do because I do have this solid habit of cartooning going, but I did have like the tiniest of I did the tiniest version of my morning routine this morning, and I feel good about doing that. And I think that's sort of what's going to be key for me, is that to have sort of like what's the least I can do that counts, and then what's sort of the optimal version.
Right. Knowing that, yeah, I mean, that's great. And knowing what you need to do, the minimum, to check it off and feel good about it. That's so smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
So, yeah.
Well, you'll be back to, at some point, you'll be reporting this beautiful morning routine that's ingrained again.
Right.
And then you'll fall off of it again.
Yeah. Well, and as we're talking, it makes me think that, you know, what really helped me get that solidified to begin with was using that morning routine journal. So maybe I need to go back to that would help me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Good idea. Is it dated? Is it a dated?
It is not dated.
Good.
So
great.
I think I can pick it up and rejuvenate the habit, which would feel really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anything else you can think of to update?
No, I feel like we've gone on long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably more than anyone wants to know.
Right. Maybe. Hopefully not, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. If you're still listening, thank you.
And if we missed something, say you listened to an episode recently where we said we were going to do something and you're curious whether or not we have, please drop us a line at hello@gooding. Why do I always say that? gettingtogoodenough.com, not gooding to get enough. hello@gettingtogoodenough.com, or leave a comment on the show notes at gettingtogoodenough.com, or contact us through social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Getting to Good Enough, and we are on Twitter at GTG Enough. But for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. I always get all fired up after we do an episode, and I want to get started on things right now, but I have to wait till tomorrow for my morning routine.
Well, you could get out your morning routine journal, or whatever that book's called.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Scratch that itch.
Yeah.